Andrew McCart, iFLTV, delighted to be joined by Mr. Gary Cully, the diva himself. I mean, wherever you go, the colour pink goes, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I wear pink, or else there's pink behind me, or I've got Babs with me and she's setting the place up in pink. So, yeah, we try to leave our mark everywhere we go. We're in Monte Carlo, and we try to leave our mark over here as well. So, yeah, man.
Definitely. But Monte Carlo, I mean, you've been here before, Gary. I mean, look at this. I can't quite get it on the camera, but this beautiful view that you've got from your balcony, man. It's a spectacular place, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It's magic. It's magic. It's a dream come true. I'm here with my close friends and my close team, and we're a very, very tight knit team. I'm here with my two boys who I've been with from the start. Niall, who's been coaching me since I'm 10 years old, and Arias, who come up through the ranks with me in my amateur club, and then and won a lot of titles, and then left boxing in his late teens, early 20s, and turned coach. And he's coaching his own fighters now, and he's over here as well with us. And Babs, obviously, my fiancée Danielle, and we're over here and we're enjoying it. But I've got a big job to do on Saturday night, tough test ahead of me, and I'm under no illusions, and I'm fully prepared to do that job that I need to get done.
Well, you mentioned a tough test. It seems like I spoke to Maxi earlier, and from the weigh-in, from the press conference, he seems fired up for this fight, and he's been talking that he's going to knock you out. I can't quite. But you know what? I'll get your thoughts. What did he say to you at the weigh-in?
Your beard's not going to protect that shin tomorrow.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. He seems confident that he's going to go in there and get this spectacular stoppage win over yourself. Now, how do you feel? Do you feel like you can go in there and stop Maxi?
I don't know if confidence is the word I would use to describe it. I think it's just a little bit of maybe insecurity and pressure that he's kind of got to do that now, because he's coming off the back of one bad performance against a journeyman in his last fight, where he was losing probably 5 rounds to 0 or 4-1. He was definitely down on the judges' cards, and then got a knockout in the 6th and had a very, very bad performance, subpar performance. And before that got beaten in 3 rounds by Zepeda. Before that got beaten by Kambosos, and I'll be honest, I thought he won that fight, but he lost the decision. So coming off that, and then got 2 hand surgeries after that fight as well. So like, he had his time in the sun, and he's been, I guess, performing at that level for a little while. He was down on the small hall scene, and then had his little breakthrough and won a couple of fights and won that IBO world title, and then started slipping off a little bit, and it was kind of, is his day in the sun finished? Is his little Indian summer finished now? And I think that he's definitely asking himself them questions as well. And if you look at his last 3 performances, you would probably say it could be. And he's got a lot to prove going in here tomorrow night. I guess he's got to prove, coming in against a young, hungry fighter, that he has still got it. I'm sure he's still got the hunger in his belly, but is his body maybe a little bit past it now? Has his mind maybe given out a little bit? He's, like I said, had his Indian summer, had his time in the sun, and he's got a bit to prove in here tomorrow night. I don't feel any pressure on myself at all. He was banging on a little bit this week about me having loads to prove, and I was there was loads of hype around me, and now people aren't talking about me anymore, and maybe that is true. And if that's the case, it probably puts even less pressure on me, because I'm a bit like the forgotten man, and I've got to come in, and the only pressure that's kind of placed upon me is the pressure that I put on myself and the expectation that I have on myself, because I work very hard and I've been in the sport for my whole life, so I expect a lot from myself. But other than that, I just have dreams and aspirations of fighting for a world title. I've always wanted this fight because I feel like Maxi Hughes is a good fighter. He was a little bit ahead of me at times in my career, and I wanted where he was at. I wanted to be where he was at, so every time that fight was kind of mentioned to me, I said, yeah, let's do it. And it was put on the table a couple of times. I said, yeah, let's do it. And Maxi always had another option on the table, so every time he had another option on the table, he went with the other option. And I think this time now, he didn't really have another option. It was kind of, you've come off 2 losses and a win that was subpar performance against a guy who was levels below you, and now you've got to step up and fight and prove yourself again, or else where do you go from here? So I think if Maxi had another option, this fight might not have been happening tomorrow night, but I don't think that he has another option. I think that if he wants to save his career and he wants to get another big night, he's got to beat me to do that, and that's why we're here tomorrow night. I'm probably his only option.
You mentioned there that the point to prove, the forgotten man, the hype around you leading up to the Felix fight. Do you feel like you do have a point to prove? Do you feel like you need to prove to Eddie, to the fans, to everybody that had that hype around you at the beginning? What was that, maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago? Do you feel like you need to get that back and get people talking again?
To be honest with you, man, not really, because in the last couple of months, I would say, I've realised a lot about myself and about my career, and I think that I fell into the industry maybe a little bit too much at times in the past, and going back to maybe the first Dublin show and even the second Dublin show, and I was trying to prove this point of me being a superstar, me being this and me being that to a lot of other people. But over these last couple of months, I'm trying to prove something to myself, and like I said, I'm in this game my whole life, and I'm trying to achieve my dreams and aspirations, and I'm trying to achieve my goals, but I'm only trying to achieve stuff and prove stuff to myself now. And I'm boxing tomorrow night because I fell in love with the sport again. I fell in love with the process again, and I fell in love with my dreams and my goals again. And I don't think I was at that point. I think I was trying to prove myself to other people for outside validation, and it's not really that case anymore. I'm in here tomorrow night because I'm blessed to do it. God has a plan for me. I've found some faith in these last couple of months, and I'm really just guided by God and trusted by God in these last couple of months. I feel trusting in God in these last couple of months, and I'm here because I love to do this, and this is the path that God's put me on, and this is His plan for me, and I'm just here with all faith in Him that this is what I've been born to do, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So the pressure is kind of dissolved for me a little bit, man, to be honest, and I'm just enjoying it now.
To be fair, Gary, this fight week, you've seen probably the most relaxed I've seen you, and I've been to a lot of your fights. From the Ulster Hall days in Belfast, I've been in quite a lot of them, and you seem more relaxed now when you are on that. People may have written you off, you may be on the cusp of that world title. This is the most relaxed I've seen, and is it because you found that sort of faith, as you mentioned there?
I think so, man, and I think the only thing that kind of makes me a little bit nervous now is the fact that I'm not so nervous. You know what I mean? I'm nervous that I'm not nervous. Why am I not so? But I guess you could put that down to experience a little bit as well, but I found a massive faith in God and a massive love for God over the last couple of months, and I can't really explain it, and a lot of people think it's airy-fairy and all this kind of stuff, but I've just found my faith, and I'm loving life, loving the journey I'm on, loving the path that He's put me on, and I really do feel guided by God. So yeah, man, like I said, I think that I'm just here now because I love this, and I'm being guided to do this, and this is what I've been born to do, and there's no pressure on me. So I don't, when I'm coming to Monte Carlo with, like I said, my couple of close friends and my family are coming over here. We're bringing 60 odd people over to Monte Carlo from Naas to cheer me on. This is
the whole population, right?
Yeah, we've got a few more, but now we've got a good crew coming over, and this is just memories. This is all a blessing, and as much as it's a blessing, I'm not taking my eye off the ball. I've been fully focused and starting to trust myself and trust in God. And I guess like I said to you about the faith, it's trust in God, but it's also I've found a massive trust in myself, and I'm believing in myself a lot more over these past couple of months, and I work extremely hard, so I deserve to have this belief in myself, you know. So yeah, I've just found a lot of belief, like I said, in both God and in myself, and this is a mad experience. This is all hugely enjoyable to me, to my friends, to my family, and I need to take it all in as well, you know. So massive job to do on Saturday night. Like I said, I've got dreams and I've got aspirations of fighting for world titles and becoming a world champion and getting to Saudi Arabia and making bucket loads of money and having fights, super fights with Shakur Stevenson, who we talked about this 15 years ago when we were both in Russia as kids, and achieving all of these dreams and making that moment a full circle moment, and I believe that God put that conversation in place 15 years ago for it to come true, and I'm chasing all of that because that's the path that God has put me on over these 15 years, and it's what gets me up in the morning, it's what keeps me motivated. And yeah, man, like I said, I'm just loving every moment of this now, so it's a different type of motivation now than it was before, you know.
Well, let me put this to you. You mentioned Shakur Stevenson. He's fighting Schofield on February 22nd. Let's say for some reason Schofield can't make that fight.
I'll be ready, man.
Well, you've answered it.
I'll be ready, man.
You've answered the question. You will be ready.
I'll be ready. I always take over. I always keep fit. And I'll be in the gym, and look, if that call comes for Shakur on February 22nd, I'll be ready. That's a life-changing opportunity. it's like I said, more dreams coming true. It's a blessing. So yeah, man, I'd be ready for that call if I came in the morning for
Maxi
sure.
said to me as well, he said the same thing as well, and he said that when this fight is over, he says he's going to tell Eddie that put me on the top of that list if Schofield pulls out. You're going to tell Eddie the same thing?
Yeah, for sure. I was offered that fight already for October 12th and accepted. Joe Cordina got the call. That fight got made, and then Shakur got injured, obviously. So it's a fight that, like I said, probably the hardest in the division. I'm under no illusions of that one, but one that we spoke about 15 years ago when we were in Russia. Me and Shakur in Russia, like 15 years ago as juniors, speaking to after sparring or after a training session. I was out there with Team Ireland, he was out there with the USA, and I said to him, Americans are always brash and always cocky and confident, yeah, but when Shakur came around with a team of 15 Americans, it was the one person who I looked at and believed him and went, nah, he is really about it, like, you know. So he was one weight below me at the time, and I said to him, we're going to get to Vegas one day and make a lot of money. Might not fall in Vegas, might be Saudi Arabia instead, but that dream will come full circle, and I really believe that, and I'm really, really motivated to make that happen.
You mentioned the toughest in the division, but for me, I said this on my podcast, the lightweight division should be the best division in boxing right now. The champions should be fighting each other. You look at the champions, you've got Lomachenko, Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson, and is it Barachek from the Ukraine?
Barachek is the IBF, yeah?
Yeah, so come on now.
Sorry, WBO.
WBO, yeah. So you're looking at these guys and yourself, you sprinkle you in there, you sprinkle other fighters in there, Cambosa's, if he's still hanging about, Cordina's moving up. It's like, come on, that should be the most exciting and the best division in boxing right now, shouldn't it?
I think it is, if the fights can get made. It definitely is. You've got, like, even across the UK and stuff, you've got Sam Noakes who fought the other night, Mark Chamberlain obviously coming off a loss, but we'll be back in there soon. We've got a lot of people knocking about, like, you know. Over in the States, you've got, like you say, Schofield. You've got Muratalla, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
You've got Stevenson. You've got Gervonta Davis, like you say, Lomachenko. All these guys who have said the last couple, Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta Davis, Lomachenko, all top 10 pound for pound. Like there's three of them there, and we're not mentioning any of them in fights together, which is a bit strange. Boxing is the best fight, the best. That's what it was coming up in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, and then I guess maybe seeing the Mayweather era, that kind of put a stop to that, and guys were looking at records and more money and this and that and the other, but I believe the best should fight the best. I'm fighting Maxi Hughes tomorrow night because I want a shot at a world title, and because I've always believed he's in around that level as well, and he was a little bit ahead of me. I've always been chasing guys who were on my level or a little bit ahead of me. I don't want touch-up fights or easy fights or any of this, like, so I've always wanted the biggest fights that I can be a part of, but I don't feel like the whole game is like that. It's a bit strange at times. Hopefully we can see an end to that with Turkey Al Sheikh and coming into boxing and Riyadh season and everything else. It seems to be opening up a little bit, and hopefully we can see some more big fights getting made in the near future. I'll definitely be one saying yes to anything put my way, so you can be sure I'll be there, hopefully.
The good thing about you, and I suppose Maxi as well, is that you're never far off, even out of camp, is you're not far off that championship weight, are you?
Nah, like, I always stay in shape. I always stay in shape. I'll go home after this fight, obviously enjoy my Christmas, but like, I'm always within, if I get a late call, 3-4 weeks of making that weight. I was actually a little bit surprised today about Maxi and his team and shouting a lot up about the weight. I actually made this weight, like, very, very easily, to be honest, and have done throughout my whole career. Maybe because I'm so tall, people get it a little bit twisted, but I can guarantee you he probably took off more last night than I did. So bit strange, but if that's what they're banking on, me taking off loads of weight and me being drained, definitely not. But look, like I said, I'm ready for them late calls. I'm always within 2-3 weeks of being on championship weight. So obviously I can't take an offer on the week before. But I'm always within touching distance of that weight, and I'm always ready. I'm always in shape. Always ready to go.
We've seen Sonny Edwards' guy Ishmael Davis jumping at the opportunities, and look what he's at.
Life-changing opportunities for life-changing money. That's what boxing is about as well, I guess. Like I said, challenging yourself, the best fighting the best, but we're also in this to make money, and we're also in this to achieve dreams, and you've got to be always in shape, because with the game that it is, fighters get injured all the time. It's combat, it's battle, like, you know, even in sparring or whatever we go, fighters go hard when they spar, especially coming into fights. You've got to be at 100%, so you've got to be pushing hard in your spars. Then you bring it up to 8 rounds and 10 rounds, and while your weight is coming down and your calories are coming down and you're trying to push for 8 and 10 rounds at a high level, it's very easy to get injured as well, you know. So there's always a lot of pullouts, and you've got to be ready for when that call comes, definitely, because one call can change your life.
Definitely, and I'm sure that you will stay ready if that call does come, Gary. One final one from me. Reese Mold is here this week, and I know the animosity. It seems like there's animosity between you as well. Is that going to Reese Mold?
Who?
Don't get me to say it again. Reese Mold. I think you fought him in Dublin. Do you remember?
Yeah, the guy who just keeps mounting all the time. That guy.
He's here this week. Yeah. Is that going to... He's obviously part of Team Maxi. He's made an appearance. We know the sort of back and forth that you two have having. Is that... like you said, who? I guess you're not thinking about Reese Mold right now, even though he's here. He's probably going to watch your hand wraps tomorrow. Is that going to faze you at all?
Man, I don't give a shit about Reese Mold. I'll be completely honest. I do not give one shit about Reese Mold. And haven't done since the 26th of November 2024 or 2023, I'm sorry, when I beat him back in Dublin. Haven't thought about him once. That fight was a comeback fight from the Jose Felix defeat. The biggest pressure that was on me, he fought a shell of me in the Tree Arena. I just lost for the first time fighting in front of Dublin, in front of 10,000 people, and then come back and fought in front of Dublin, 10,000 people again against him. First time I felt massive pressure on my shoulders, and just got through that fight and just won that fight. But like I said, I woke up on the 26th of November 2023, and he hasn't entered my mind since. I seen him today, and he started piping up a bit. I think he started saying a couple of things when I was on the stage, but man, he had his day. He can just go back into his little hole, to be honest. I don't give a shit for him. I don't like him as a person, to be honest, because he was completely disrespectful in the lead up to the fight, which I can kind of understand. But then after the fight, we show sportsmanship after the fight. No matter what, we show sportsmanship. If you think that you didn't win the fight, that's cool, but you still show respect to your opponent. This is boxing, and we show respect, but he just came across as a little asshole. So nah, man, I don't like him, but I've never thought about him since, really.
One final one for me then, Gary, before I let you get back. It is quite chilly. It's getting quite chilly.
It's
quite cold out here.
Nice
So
views,
I'm actually shivering. I want to get back in there. Yeah.
Shout out to Babs Daly, by the way. She brought the Lions tea, so
Lions tea. I've seen that on your story. I've seen that on your story. You know what I mean? So well
give
done,
you a
Babs.
couple of good Irish. We'll give you a couple of good Irish before you leave.
Yeah, definitely. I'll take that. You know me. One final one tomorrow night. What can we expect from Gary Cully?
I think an experienced, mature performance. Back to being the diva, and back to being Gary Cully, and back to being showing the performances and showing the level that I can perform at. Like I said, I'm under no illusions. Maxi Hughes has operated at a high level. Probably, definitely one of the highest levels that I've been in with, or one of the highest, the hardest opponents that I've been in with. I'm under no illusions of that, of the test that's in front of me and the challenge that's in front of me, but I'm motivated to show how good I am, to myself, to my team. I'm motivated to make my team proud, and to get out here and do the job and earn my spot at, like I said, achieving these dreams early next year when all these calls are going to come for me. So, like I said, God's plan. And yeah, man, looking forward to a big performance tomorrow night.
I can't wait for it myself, Gary. Thank you so much as always, mate. And yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow night. So I'll see you later, champ.
Appreciate
Thank you
your
very
time,
much.
bro,
Thank
as
you, bro.
always.
Thank you.